Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Pixi. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. What I hope you're doing right now when you're watching this, I've been fabulously and safely, and tonight is going to be another kitchen vlog. Trying not to wake other people up, but I've got to make this peanut brittle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you everything measured out and guide you through how I make my peanut brittle. So hooray for kitchen vlogs. And hopefully you can hear me. Hopefully you can see me because I have my ring light and the kitchen light, and that bulb just went out. So it's awesome. It doesn't take too long. The only thing that's complicated about making candy is the temperature. Everything is pretty much just self-explanatory, but the temperature just has to be right so the candy sets correctly. So if you're new to cooking candy, making candy, this should be relatively easy, I think. Even though I'm like a novice, I'm not a pro chef or anything, I think this is a good beginner candy to make, and it sets pretty easily, unlike other candies that have to be like no humidity at all kind of thing. So yeah, we'll get started, and hopefully you enjoy this little mini cooking vlog, because I gotta get this done for presents, because my first batch of peanut brittle for the season is almost gone. So yay! Okay, bye. Okay, here are all the ingredients laid out. You're going to need 3 tablespoons of butter and then some, a baking sheet, your measuring cups, teaspoons and tablespoons. I like my little shot glass guy and my mermaid guys, baking soda, light corn syrup, granulated sugar, raw unroasted peanuts. This is also granulated sugar. I'm going to do this before I go to this. Candy thermometer, digital, a spoon, and pure vanilla. And when you get your peanuts all shelled, you can buy them shelled, but I take the time to do it myself. You're going to dump them in here and rinse them very well. And so let's do that. Okay, these are all rinsed, so they're gonna sit here. It's about 1.5 pounds. And over here with the baking sheet, we're going to preheat the oven to 200. And this keeps the pan warm, so when the candy sets, it'll be easier to get off the pan. That's all that does. And then you'll need a medium-sized saucepan with a lid. I don't know if the lid is necessary, so I'm going to portion out my ingredients. I'll list the amount of everything after this clip, after I portion it all out, and then I'll get back to you. 1.5 teaspoons baking soda, 1 teaspoon water, and then 1 teaspoon vanilla in this bowl. And it's important to keep this separate. Okay, we have 1 cup light corn syrup. We have 1½ cups granulated sugar. I have chopped up my 3 tablespoons of butter here to bring it to room temperature faster, and 1 cup of room temperature water. We're going to dump the sugar, the corn syrup, and the water into here, and then we're going to get it to 240 on the candy thermometer while stirring constantly. So let's do this. Also, don't forget to put your pre-greased pan in the oven to melt the butter. This is supposed to help it remove from the pan more easily. So, yay! Okay, we're going to stir this occasionally until it gets to 240 Fahrenheit. So this will take a little bit, and I will get back to you when we're on the next step. Yay! Okay, now we're at almost 240. We're going to add the butter and the peanuts, and this is where we have to act fast because you have to constantly stir it until it gets back up to 300, but it's easier than you think. Your arm just gets really freaking tired, so let's do this. Any day now. We're just going to stir this until it gets back up to 300, and then I'll go on to the next stop because I need because I need both hands for this because it gets really thick. It is a science. We're at 213 now because this stuff was at room temperature, 210, so I have to patiently wait for it to get back up. So I will check with you guys in a bit. Okay, we're at 253, and you can see how much thicker it got. This is why you keep stirring it, so it doesn't stick to the sides, because it'll start scalding, so I'm going to get back to stirring. concoction we made, once it hits 300 exactly, you take it off the heat, and then you add the crazy baking soda and vanilla and water. And you get the candy strings. And then you stir it until it's foamy. You see the bubbles. Always have a water nearby because it's going to be hot. And then when it's foamy and not burning yourself like I just did, we're going to pour it into the pan. That's a big blister. So the pan that you buttered and left in for 200 degrees. And this is where you have to act fast. And be careful. It's gonna be hot as the F word. I can already feel a blister forming, so once you get, like I said, you gotta act fast, and burning yourself does not help. The wooden spatula, and as fast as you can, oven mitt, just spread it. As thinly as you can. I can't multitask. And it doesn't have to be perfect because you're gonna break it up into pieces. So I'm just trying to scrape off what I can here off the spatula and just set it. Okay. And you have all this sugary goodness. It's going to be really hot, so I put it in cold water. There's going to be little stringies everywhere from stirring. So I think this thermometer. The sugar strands. So good. Never douse your candy thermometer. Wipe the end with hot water, because otherwise the digital part clearly will not work. Yeah, I'm going to have a blister right there. And then you're just going to soak your saucepan when it cools off. Turn off your oven. Then you're going to have something that looks like this. And like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect because you're going to break this into pieces anyway. So we're going to let this cool off on the oven probably about an hour, and then I will show you what to do next. Yay. Ow. Awesome. That's the first time I burned myself making peanut brittle, but also my first time trying to record it too, so that's probably why I was trying to multitask too quickly. So I'm going to clean this up, and then I'll show you how I break up my brittle for packaging or gifts. And yeah, I will see you, for you a couple seconds, for me like an hour. So okay, So the last step, which is probably my favorite because you get to take out a little of the aggression on stuff. So this is all cooled off. It took about, I would say 30 to 40 minutes. And it'll be a little sticky, but it's clearly set. I can like do that and that. It's clearly not going anywhere. And when you do store it, put it in an airtight container, tight lid. It'll last a couple weeks depending on what your household is like if they don't eat it first. It'll take a while for this to go bad. I don't have any right now, but mine goes so quickly in this house that you don't need it necessarily. But if you want to store it, I would recommend layers of parchment or wax paper just so it doesn't stick if you're especially in a humid area, if your AC isn't always on full blast like my house is. So we're going to take our pan, and remember the whole butter thing we did? Well, that's supposed, sorry, I had like a little bit on the pan. It's supposed to take the tension off the pan once it cools so it doesn't stick as much, but you're still going to have an issue. So what I'm about to do is show you how I break it up to store it. And the pieces aren't going to be like even. There's really no true way to make them consistent, so it's just, it is what it is. So all you need is cling wrap, not sponsored by anything mentioned. And you're going to cover the whole pan. With cling wrap. So it's all covered. Make sure it's tight. All the way around. And then you literally take a hammer. Take another piece of cling wrap and wrap it around your hammer. Like so. So lay wherever your hammer may have been, unless you have an actual like food mallet, that'll work too. Pretty much anything to put pressure on it, and then you just hit it. And you just keep doing that. So just hitting it with the hammer a couple times, you can see it just breaks up on its own. Yes, I washed my hands. And you see a big piece like this, you can just snap it. It's just really easy. And then you'll just have these portions. It just kind of breaks up on its own once it's still semi-warm. So it doesn't have to be completely cooled. But another trick is you press it on like, you just kind of pop it on like a corner of your counter or the burners of your stove if you don't have a flat top. And be careful doing this on a glass flat top because you could crack it. So make sure it's on an uneven surface, you can pop it out of the pan and then you just get chunks. And yeah, so I'm going to continue doing that. If you have any questions, just ask me down below. But yeah, I will show you the final result in the little container, and that's it. That's how you make peanut brittle, and that's how I make peanut brittle. So yeah, I'll talk to you in a minute.